Good morning to my future programmer. Let's start with our C programming. In this today's video section, we are going to see about processor as well as about compiler, assembler and linker. So let's start with our section. First of all, what is a compilation? Because every time whenever we will type our code, we are compiling it. Am I right? So what do you mean by that? The compilation is a process of converting the source code into object code. So ultimately, whenever we are compiling the code, so it is creating the OBJ, that is an object code for that particular source code file, that is .c file. It is done with the help of compiler. So whenever we will press Ctrl F9, so it will create the object code format .c file. The compiler checks the source code for the particular structure error, or is there any kind of coding error, and once that source code is error free, then it generates the object code. The C compilation process converts the source code taken as an input into the object code or machine code. So this is also called as a machine code. The compilation process can be divided into 4 steps. First step is your pre-processing step. Next one is a compiling. After that, assembling, and the last one, that is a linking. The preprocessor takes the source code as an input and it removes all the comments from the source code. The preprocessor takes the preprocessor directory and interprets it. For example, we are using the preprocessor directory such as stdio.h, conio.h, maths.h and various kinds of directory available in your C programming codes. Then the preprocessor interprets that directory and replaces that directory with the content of stdio.h file. You can see over here, this is the following phases through which our program passes before being transformed into the executable code. So preprocessor, that is my source code. Then we are compiling it, that is also called as an expanded code. Then it will convert into assembler, that is assembly code. So it will generate the object code, that is a libraries and other object file, that is called as a linker, and then it will convert it into executable code. Now one by one we will see about deeply. First of all, preprocessor. The source code is the code which is written in the text editor, and the source code file is given the extension .c, basically for C code. This source code is a first pass to the preprocessor, and then preprocessor expand this code, and after expanding this code, this pass to the compiler. So now we will move towards the next part, that is a compiler. This code which is expanded by the preprocessor is passed to the compiler. The compiler converts this code into assembly code, or we can say that the compiler converts preprocessor code into assembly code. Next one is an assembler. The assembly code is converted into object code by using an assembler. The name of object file generated by the assembler is the same as the source file. The extension of object file in the DOS is .obj, and in the Unix the extension is O. If the name of the source file is a hello.c, so it will create the object file that is a hello.obj. So this is called as a assembly code. So basically, in short, assembly code is nothing but your object code. Next one is a linker. Mainly, all the programs written in C uses the library file such as your std.io.h, maths.h, conio.h, ctype.h and n numbers of library files which we are using to type the C code. These library files or these functions are pre-compiled and the object code of these files is stored in the library with the extension .a or .lib extension. The main work of linker is to combine the object code of library file with the object code of our program. So this linker is connecting between the library file as well as our program also. Sometimes the situation arises when our program refers to the function defined in the other file. Then the linker play very important role in this. So at the linker the object code of these files to our program. So therefore we conclude that the job of linker is to link the object file of our program with the object code of the library file, or maybe it could be your other files also. And the output of the linker is a executable file which we can see on the screen. The name of the executable file is the same as the source file, but it is a different from their extension. In the DOS, the extension for your executable file is .exe and executable file in Unix, that is a .out. If we are using the printf function in the program, then the linker added associated code in the output file. Basically, printf function is used for the output. So this linker will associate with that particular output file. You can see over here basically how this program will get executed. So over here hash include, that is a preprocessor directory I have used, that is a hash include. So hash is representing my preprocessor and hash include is my preprocessor directory. Whichever thing we have mentioned within the less than and greater than sign, it's called as a library file or header file. And basically stdio header file is providing me two functions, that is scanf as well as printf. So basically for output we are using printf and for input scanf get used. And you can see over here printf. So whichever things we have mentioned within the block of main function, this is my output which will print on my screen. So like this way it get executed. First of all, your program code, that is this one. We are using the preprocessor, that is my extended source code. Then we are going to compile it. So as soon as we will compile it, will create the object file, that particular file through assembler. Object code get created and linker will execute that code and then it will load and it will finally print my output, that is a hello. So this is a process of your every C coding. So this is an explanation which I have explained to you. Thank you students for watching my video.